What's going on, brother? Welcome to the video series in the program How to Quit Porn for Good. The purpose of these videos are to give you some extra insight based on my personal journey of now being over 3 years porn-free, thankfully. It's been a very, very long journey, and when I created this program, I was just under 2 years porn-free. And since then, I've had so many incredible insights. So this is not the program in itself in video format. This is simply an addition to the original program. So if you have not already, it is mandatory that you go back and read the ebook or listen to the audiobook in full, because it will teach you everything that you need to know. And the things that I'm going to talk about here in this video series are not going to make sense unless you read the ebook or listen to the audiobook. And throughout this journey, I'm going to be adding more and more videos when I figure new things out. So this program is going to be constantly progressing and getting better. So what I'm not going to do is go into the deep, deep science about what porn does to your brain. But just for the video's sake and this video series' sake, let's just touch on it again. So let's do a little recap. Basically, porn is very, very different from real and natural sex. Your brain, you as a man watching this, you are programmed naturally to do two main things: survive and reproduce. So at a very, very deep genetic level, your reptilian brain, which we share with animals, rats, and other creatures, wants to reproduce. You want to spread your genes, and it's completely natural. So the problem is that your brain does not know the difference between a real naked woman and the naked women that you see when you are watching porn. So what happens is that when you are basically watching porn every single day, your brain thinks that you are being bombarded and thinks that you are seeing hundreds of naked women every single day. And what does your brain do? It does what it's programmed to do. It does what it should do. It releases dopamine. So you become motivated to have sex with those naked women that you see. This is a very, very basic explanation of what happens. Dopamine is a motivating hormone. So your brain releases it when it wants you to do something. So when you see that naked woman, your brain releases dopamine because it wants you to have sex with her. It wants you to reproduce because this is your natural programming. So you can see how it is not your fault that you are addicted to porn. You are naturally programmed to be addicted to porn. It's just how it is. You know, don't be mad at your brain. It's the same natural programming that keeps our species alive. So what happens over time, and what happens with porn, is that since porn is so incredibly awesome in a way, meaning that you can have your most intense sexual desires with a click of a button for hours and hours, and you can see hundreds of different videos in a day, your brain gets overloaded with dopamine. When you see a naked woman, a beautiful woman, yes, your brain produces dopamine. You guys have sex, you have a beautiful time, and then the dopamine goes back down. A very natural curve. And this usually would happen in the past during our evolution once or twice a day, tops. I mean, we weren't seeing hundreds of women naked every single day. So with porn, the same process happens in your brain, but you're seeing naked women, often ridiculously beautiful naked women, often multiple naked women at the same time, often in HD, doing ridiculous things exactly how you want them, and your dopamine is like, boom, through the roof. It's way high. And then you get a little bit bored of that video, so you click to the next one. And then as your dopamine is going down, you see a new naked girl, bam. You get a little bored, bam, dopamine goes up, keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And it's scientifically proven, as you've seen in the charts in the program and things like this, that porn raises your dopamine at a much higher level and for a much longer period of time than regular sex. So over time, say you're watching porn like this every day, 2 to 3 times a day, for 10 years, from the age of 15 to 25, by the time you're 25, your dopamine system, what's happened is that the dopamine sensors in your brain have downregulated because you're so used to this intense amount of dopamine that your brain actually downregulates the receptors so you don't need as much. Because you have so much dopamine, you don't need as many receptors. This is a natural occurrence. It happens, you can see it in people who take Xanax and anti-anxiety medication. If they take it for longer than a month, their GABA receptors start to die off because there's so much GABA in their brain from the Xanax, and eventually they try to stop taking Xanax and they have intense withdrawals and they can't, they become addicted to it. The same as with porn, but with dopamine in your brain. So what happens over time is your dopamine sensors die off, so you become basically desensitized to real sex, because real sex is not as novelty, it's not as stimulating, it's not as pleasurable in the fetish sense. You can't just click from video to video to video. It's just a regular girl who's often not as beautiful or not as sexy as a porn star, and you can't get an erection. It's proven that, I've read the studies, I don't know how they prove this, but it's said that 50% of guys who watch porn on a daily basis cannot maintain an erection and have some sort of erectile dysfunction, whether that be not being able to ejaculate with a real woman or just not being able to get an erection. So this is a huge problem, but it goes even further than that. Because your dopamine is desensitized, during everyday life, when you're not watching porn, things that should bring you joy actually don't. They don't bring you joy. And since dopamine is the motivating hormone, since you have less receptors, you start to lose motivation. You start to become lazy. And all you want to do is watch porn to get your next fix. You are literally a drug addict. I'm just going to say it. Porn is a drug. You know, people might say I'm crazy, but you're watching this program. You're clearly on the side that porn is bad. So porn is a drug. So basically, that's what porn does to your brain. So yes, in this video series, we've just covered what porn does to your brain very quickly, and now I'm going to tell you a lot about my journey in the upcoming videos. But before I do that, I want to say one thing to you. I want to reiterate this, a couple things. One, it is not your fault that you're addicted to pornography, man. It's so accepted in mainstream media and society that it's just people look at you like you're crazy when you say you're addicted to porn. Don't worry about what they think. It's not your fault. Your brain is programmed to be addicted to porn, and we are bombarded with it. You likely started when you were a kid and you didn't know better. So I want you to forgive yourself right now. And throughout this process, I want you to know that it's not your fault to fail over and over and over. As I'm going to talk about, this is a very long process of becoming fully porn-free and not even thinking about it. And over time, since you are programmed to be addicted to it, since your brain wants that dopamine, you likely will relapse and fail. I want you to forgive yourself. I want you to accept where you're at every single time and know that it is not your fault. But lastly, even though it's not your fault, I want you to know that it is your responsibility now that you are aware of what's going on to make the change in your life. It's 100% only up to you to make this change. And whether it takes you 1 month or 5 years, no matter how long it takes, you can and you will make this change. The brain is elastic. The brain is programmed to return back to normal after being skewed by drugs and things like this. It does. No matter how long it takes, it's seen in drug addicts, and in most cases, and especially definitely with porn, there are specific cases with head trauma and things and situations where the brain doesn't return 100% back to normal. But over time, your brain will heal and your dopamine receptors will grow back and be back to normal. So I want you to trust this and know this and be prepared for a long journey. Accept failures. Know it's not your fault, but know that it's your responsibility to change and that time will pass regardless. So in 5 years, you could either be porn-free or you could be watching a new program starting over. So no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fail, you can do this and you will do this. All right? And I'm going to help you in these next videos, brother. So I'll see you later. Your brain will change. Know it, trust it. The brain always does. Love yourself, accept yourself, and let's start this journey right now.